Hello, everybody. Welcome to Strategize Your Business Online. This is the live designed for entrepreneurs like yourself who are looking for a dose of business inspo and ideas to grow your business in the online space. My name is Dee Boswell-Buck, and I'm the digital marketing strategist behind Boswell-Buck Creative Consulting. And what we do is we help you to connect with your dream clients in the online space with strategy. So, thank you so much for watching this live. And before I introduce my awesome guest here, if you can do me a favor or do us a favor and share in the comments who you are, the name of your business, how you help your ideal clients, and you know what, whatever platform that you're watching this on, let us know the other platforms that we can see you on. Right now we are streaming on LinkedIn. And now I would love to introduce my guest. Her name is Renée Lindo. As a personal and brand stylist, Renée Lindo guides women on their style journey from confused and overwhelmed to confident. She blends her keen eye for style and professional background to create polished outfits and functional wardrobes that align with their personal brand. Renée merges her sales leadership background with her love for fashion and style to help women craft a confident and compelling style story that communicates before they start speaking. So perhaps you've already seen her on social media. That's how I discovered her. Renée inspires others with her consistent presence on TikTok, Instagram, and I discovered her right here on LinkedIn. She shares her perspective on showing up and enjoying her best life and how her audience can do this too. Her tribe of engaged followers are women 40 plus who are vibrant, living life, and they've built successful careers and have disposable income. And her unique voice reaches women who are educated, stylish, and ready to invest in themselves. Renée is located in the Greater Toronto Area and she serves women globally because this is really needed. She's a wife, mother to teenagers, and a good girlfriend to her GFs, sharing life experiences and the good life along the way. And I pulled this quote from Renée's content. Sorry, Renée. Our style is a powerful tool. When we get it right, it changes the game and expands what we're available for. Renée Lindo, thank you so much for being on Strategize Your Business Online. How are you today?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for that intro.
Yes, thank you for saying yes. Now, I already see that somebody has jumped into the comments. So please excuse me. Right now, I don't see who this is. So I'm going to ask if you can say what your name is. But the person has said, Greetings, Dee, and featured guest, Renée Lindo.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Yeah, so Renée, if we can get started, even though, we have this awesome bio, I would love to know if you can share with our audience, who are you and what is it that you do?
That's a good question. When I think about what I do and how I serve, I'm really on a mission to help people who identify as women to show up better for themselves, to really understand the power of their style and to use their style as a tool to help them to attract opportunities and to really expand what they're available for. Right. So I really think that's the core of it. It's really to help women to show up for themselves, show up better for themselves, and to allow them to put themselves in spaces where maybe they wouldn't have before. And we do this by, creating polished outfits with functional wardrobes that really align with their personal brand. Because when you look good, you feel good. And so you put your hand up for more. So that's really when I think of it, the essence of who I am and what I do. And I'm a, as you'd mentioned, a personal and brand stylist.
Right. It's powerful. How did you get started?
So this is a story. So I come from a corporate background. So I was a national sales director in the pharmaceutical industry. And I just knew that, and well, there was no women at my level, and definitely no Black women. And so I just knew that when I looked good, when I was dressed well, it gave me this confidence to advocate for myself, negotiate more, to speak up in meetings. And I just said, if I could help other women to tap into this power and to really leverage their style, this is what I wanted to do. So I stepped away from corporate and started my business. And so here I am. So I work with women one-on-one or with corporate clients for their employees. And that's really it. It's really about, really being intentional about our style, and then how your energy changes when you show up as the woman that you really want to be.
Right. Was it scary making that decision to leave your position in pharmaceuticals and then start your own business?
So I was miserable for a long time, but I knew that, or I felt like, gosh, I've reached, and I always say this, I climbed and worked hard and reached the top of my mountain. I was this national sales director and this big post. But then when I looked out, I'm like, oh, I'm at the top of this mountain, but it's the wrong mountain.
Mm.
I don't want to be here. I want to be doing that over there. But I had I always thought of it, but I said, gosh, if I start something new, I'm starting at the bottom. I really didn't want to do that, but I just got to a point where I said, hey, this is something that I really enjoy. This is something that I know that I'm good at. Women come to me for help and advice. And if I don't try it now, then when would I try it? So I said, I'm going to bet on me. I have done well and been successful for big pharma for years. And I said, I'm going to bet on me and, see what happens. And so here we are.
I love that you said that you're going to bet on me.
Yeah.
And you kind of mentioned about like when is it going to be the right time? Because I remember when I decided to leave my job, it didn't take me too long to leave, but I probably did stay a tad too long. And my husband said to me, "You are comfortably uncomfortable." And I think like those were the words that changed everything for me. And the things that were going through my mind is that, oh, I'm going to walk away from a great paycheck, benefits. Our daughter
Absolutely.
still has to go to school.
Right.
And I mean, I was already talking about, okay, what am I going to be missing in terms of pay? And then I've already talked about the fact that my daughter was going to go to college or university, hopefully, or maybe not. So I've already like expanded the story as to why I shouldn't leave.
Right.
So yeah, it's really there's never a right time.
Yes, I agree. Um, but and when people ask me, or entrepreneurs ask me, I said, I wouldn't suggest to do it my way, because really I left corporate without a real plan, right? But I just knew at this point, the point I was at or how I felt, I just was not happy. And when Friday came, I was excited because it was a weekend. Saturday, I was great. But by the time Saturday evening rolled around and then Sunday, forget it. I'm like, oh, and it was this roller coaster of, I just don't want to, I just don't enjoy that work any longer. So it was just a decision to say, hey, let me try something else. Because I didn't want to be shouting at my kids all the time. I mean, I still shout, but no, but now it just made me a little bit different. But yes, so it's a tough decision, because you walk away from so much, right? Or what you think is so much. But I always say that, built a successful career, so I'm gonna think and hope and work toward building a successful business, right? And
Right.
use those skills to, or transfer those skills.
Right. And you said that, you might not give the advice for people to do it the way you did it. So
Right.
I'm curious, like
Yes.
when you made that first step, what were the first few months like? And then how long did it take for people to start reaching out?
So remember, so I'm coming from pharma. I have no formal anything in styling or so actually so I started a boutique. So I had an online boutique and personal styling. So there were two in one. And I had experience in neither. I just knew that I loved it and I had a keen sense of style and fashion. And so the first, I thought it'd be fine, right? The first few months I was excited. I was doing all the things. I thought I'd be fine because I'd always been successful in work and done well and achieved and won awards. So I figured I would translate, but it wasn't as linear as I was hoping. So it definitely took a lot more. So I tell people it takes a lot longer. It costs a lot more than you think initially it would, but you continue to hone your craft and develop your skills and keep showing up. I think that's the big thing, is to keep showing up. Sometimes we get dissuaded or frustrated that the content that we put out, they don't get the likes or the engagement that you would expect. But I always say, don't watch the vanity metrics. Yes, they're important, but so many people will come into my DMs or send me an email and I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that you saw me or knew me, but they're there and they see you and, there's business there.
Yeah, awesome. That's so true about the vanity metrics. And so the first person who greeted us, it is Christopher Lawrence. Christopher, thank you so much for stopping to watch. And then we have Lorna Kennedy Murray, and she says, "Good afternoon, ladies. I'm Lorna of Image and Etiquette Consulting." And then we have Mark DeLeon. Quite often people need to be pushed out to become entrepreneurs. Yes, it's so true. We have to get out of that comfortable space. Now, my question to you, Renee, is that, you know, our personal style, some of us, we feel that I don't have style. I feel like I'm stuck and I could be a business owner, or I don't like what's happening in my closet. What I'm putting on, it doesn't make me feel good. And so that's one thing. Or perhaps, yeah, I think I mentioned already, maybe some people feel that they don't have style. What is that mindset that a woman is going through that makes them say, I'm going to reach out to Renee?
Sure. So there are a few different, you mentioned a few examples. So as we are right now, there's a lot of, people are returning to the office. We've gone through a lot of change from pre-pandemic, pandemic, post. So there's a lot of change happening. So there are a few different types of clients that usually reach out. So we'll have those who are returning to the office and they don't know what that looks like, right? The offices and what we wear to work has changed. Business casual, we used to know exactly what business casual was, and that's now much wider. Some industries lean more business, some lean more casual. So where do you fit in with that? And then also people have changed in terms of what they wore and how they wanted to show up for themselves before pandemic versus now, right? So there's a lot of change. So we'll have that person who's returning to the office and really wants to show up differently. There'll be clients who are progressing their careers and they know they have to show up differently for bigger roles, larger roles. And then there's also the entrepreneurs who they have a brand, they're working on developing their brand, their business, and they want to ensure that their image aligns with that brand. And I have to say, this reminded me, we all have a personal brand, whether it's employee or entrepreneur. We all have a personal brand. But I just think, those three scenarios kind of tend to be the ones that I see most and help most right now.
Right. And how is it that what are some clues that you use to help bring that personal brand out, like within these three categories?
Sure. So when we start, it's always a conversation. We talk about what's the message? So your style is our biggest communication tool. I truly believe that. We say so much just by how we show up. It's the message that we're sending to our audience, the community, whomever. And it's also a message that we're sending to ourselves. So it's a huge communication tool. So we talk about what is that message that you want to send? What do you want to be known for? What do you want to say? So we do a lot of introspection. I send a style questionnaire and we talk about how do I want to move through the world? What I want to say, what are my words, those types of things. So really get clear on who you are and how you move, right? Because I think it's not just about, oh, hey, let's go shopping and buy some new pieces. It doesn't work unless you really understand who you are and how you want to show up. When you're clear there, then buying the pieces and shopping really becomes so much easier. And that's part of my style framework that I created that I call the style story framework. So just like any story or movie, there are different elements that really make for a compelling story. And you start with clarity, right? You start with an outline of this story. What is the story going to be about? Similarly, with your style, you really want to get clear on the style, and so that you know what everything else that follows. So that's the first piece of my framework. So I'll stop there.
No, that's great because and then you mentioned that it's not just about the shopping. So it's really
Absolutely.
great that you broke that down, that it's really taking a deep dive into
Yes.
who that person is and
See,
the
you
story they want to
just
put out.
yes, sorry to cut you. If so many times, a lot of clients or women will just feel frustrated or overwhelmed. They have all this stuff in their closet, but then they feel like they don't have anything to wear, or it's hard to put an outfit together. And a lot of that stems from the fact that you feel like you have nothing to wear, so you say, okay, I need to go buy something. But you really aren't clear on, okay, what do I need? Right? How do I want to show up? So I spend a lot of time talking with clients about being intentional about the message you want to send. And when you really get clear on that, then finding the pieces that align with your vibe, your style, really becomes much easier.
Right. Would you say that there's some myths that people have, that women have before they reach out to you, that
Oh,
maybe kind of like oh, okay, looks like there are. Tell me
oh
three. Tell me
yes.
the
Well,
three.
people think that you have to be a celebrity to have a personal stylist, right? You need to be a celebrity, or you're rich, or you're, Beyonce, right? To a movie star to have a personal stylist. And that is so not the case. My clients, I don't Beyonce isn't one of mine yet. But I mean, I work with everyday women who really just want to show up for themselves. They want to get their mojo back. They want, especially women who are maybe over 40, who their bodies have changed. They're they want to look great at this new season in life. Yes, they looked great when they were 20, but now they're in a different season. And I always say we can still be fabulous and vibrant at this stage. Clients who are going through some type of transition, clients who, as I said, bodies have changed and they just don't know, how do I really get in touch with me? How do I really find pieces that work for my body that help me to send the message that I want to send? So it's all of that, and it's really about understanding that it's just a professional. You're engaging a professional to help you with this, putting yourself together. Just like you may hire a coach, you hire a fitness coach, you hire somebody to do your resume, right? And that's another piece that I think is important is, we're on LinkedIn, a professional platform. Many people spend a lot of time and resources investing in a career coach, getting their resume together, uh, investing in um, uh, people like advocates and mentors, all of those things, right? To build your career and your brand. But also your style is a part of your success, of your career success toolkit, right? It's a piece that really ties it together, because when you show up with confidence and impact in those spaces, then it makes you, it gives you a different energy, right? And people feed off that energy. So that's so important.
Right. Earlier, you mentioned like what's in our closet. So my question is it like, okay, you're working with me and we're going to trash everything that's in your closet. Like you've already told me that you don't love how it's making you feel, and we are going to spend a mint at the mall. Like, how does that work?
Sure.
Is it that get rid of everything and bring in all the new, or do
Yeah.
you find a way to blend?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great question. So a lot I work with clients virtually, even people who are in the GTA who do a lot of, they don't like to shop, so we're virtual. So I work with clients all over. So, and it's not just clear out and get rid of everything. It's really, as I said, so we get clear on you and what that is, and then we do a closet edit, right? We do that virtually. And I work with you going through your pieces, right? You'll try them on or not, and just kind of say, hey, I have some questions. Do I look amazing in this? Do I feel great? Does it, right? All of those types of questions. And then we determine how has it passed its expiry dates in terms of does it fit? And another thing, does it fit you now? Not it's going to fit me when I lose my 10 pounds that you've been trying to lose for 10 years. No, we really want to create a space that fits a closet that works for us now. So we, go through those questions and really, so we get rid of what doesn't work, what needs to be fixed, what you're going to donate. And so we're left with what we have. And then while that's happening, I'm making a list of gaps, the things that we need to fill in, the things that are missing, or some ideas that I may have that we can add to what's left in your closet, so that we can create some outfits, so that we can create some variety and versatility. And then I shop. Then I'll shop virtually. Each of my clients has a virtual closet. I'll put some ideas of what I found in her virtual closet. She can see and go through that. And then I create outfits in a lookbook, right? So it makes it really, the process really easy. So I'll send it through and she'll get her lookbook, her whole outfits created. So it makes it easy. You can say, hey, yes, I can wear this today. So it's not getting rid of everything, because I honestly believe that you have gems in your closet, but because many of us keep buying and shopping and putting new things in, first of all, we can't see them. We have forgotten that we have them. So let's see what is in the closet. Get rid of what we no longer need, what doesn't fit, what doesn't serve us, see what's there, add some new pieces that are going to make us feel current, make us feel modern, relevant, and then mix and match and create outfits that are functional. That's going to support you personally and professionally, and how you live and work.
Yeah, that seems effortless. I love it.
Yes,
I
that's the
I
goal.
think about something that I do, and then it kind of fell by the wayside during the pandemic. And what I would do is that not so much a closet edit, but my rule was that summer just ended. And if I did not wear these pieces in the summer, then I give those to charity. Because what I was noticing before, whenever I would keep it, thinking I'm going to fit into it, or it'll come, something my mom always says, it'll come back in style again, right? So I would keep these pieces and I would never wear them. And then I must have heard this somewhere on TV. So then going into winter, whatever I haven't worn in the winter, then that gets cleared out of my closet. So then at least I'm able, it's not perfect, but I'm able to see. Of course, when I said it fell by the wayside because we were at home. So
Yes.
it was something that I had to start all over again. But I really believe that every closet deserves a really great edit. So you can see
Absolutely. And
what's
I think
happening.
that's such a great practice, right? If you haven't worn it, and if you don't another thing if I haven't reached for it, if it's not something that
Mhm.
I want to wear, then am I really going to wear it? And think of your closet really as prime real estate, right? This is space that this is what you have, right? And I really want my clients' closets to feel like their own curated boutique that's made for them, with everything that fits, the colors, the styles, everything that works for you. And when you step into this space, you're able to pick pieces and put an outfit together, and you look good and you feel good. So getting rid of stuff, and even you may not have a designated end of season closet edit, but as you're in your closet and you see pieces that you don't like, just get rid of them, just take them out. But I do like this change of season, like right now, to get rid of stuff that you don't like, doesn't resonate with your style and vibe anymore, and just take it out. It creates so much more space. And then when you go shopping, you can make an intentional shopping list, like, oh, those black pants don't work. I know I need a pair of black pants. And you're going to think about, okay, my body shape. I have, even though wide legs may be trending, or high waist, whatever that is, will that work for my body shape? What type of black pants should I get? Am I going to lean into the cargo trend that's happening, that everybody's wearing? Is that my vibe? Or is it just because it's a trend? So you really want to be more intentional and thoughtful about your closet.
Right. Love that. Now, I wanted to talk about elevating. You talked about the personal brand, and no matter what, like there is a personal brand. So, somebody, they come up to you and they reach out and they want to go to that next level career wise, or you talked about they're changing that, like they're progressing in their career or it's for their business. So they know that they need to get here and they know that the clothing will help them. Do you find that in this process you end up helping them with their mindset as well? Like you end up coaching them, or maybe coaching's not the right word, but
Sure, I think I know what you mean. And I think so, absolutely, because so many times what I hear, sometimes women are saying, well, they're afraid of looking too much or being too much, or people to think that they are too much, or they had been told stories when they were younger that they can't wear this or they can't wear that because of fat knees or big ankles or a big elbow, whatever it is. I've heard, like, every body part we have, there is some story that some woman has in her head that somebody told her or she heard, and that has become reality to her, right? In terms of, I had a client, I think she was in her 60s, and when we were doing her intake, she said, I have really big legs. I'm like, okay, so we can look for some pieces and she kept saying big legs. So I shopped with that in mind. So when I met her, we did her closet edit, I met her and I saw her, I'm like, what are you talking about big legs? Where are the legs? I mean, this is a normal, this woman teaches yoga, mind you. So she said, well, when I was a little girl, this man always said I have big legs. And so I've always held on to that. Now, little girl, she's now 60 something, right? So so those are the types of stories that, whether true or not, people tell us things, and, parents, and if you're West Indian or people don't have filters, they just kind of tell it as it is. And, sometimes those things, you hold on to it and it becomes your reality when it's really not true. Other people are looking like, what are you talking about? So there's a lot of that discussion around, I don't see that. I know that's important to you. And it's not me saying, no, you don't have a big whatever it is, but it's really more about, let's look at that. And, we talk about mirror work and, acknowledging our bodies and the fact that what our body is able to do for us and what we can do because of our bodies, and just really showing it love. So we do some of that as well. So yes, there's a lot of, it's not just the shopping and the clothes, but really conversations around who we are as women, how do we want to show up, and then what that looks like, with our clothing.
right. Now for the entrepreneur, you helping them with with their brand, their personal brand. How does that work? Because it's like, oh, this is how I want to look like on social media. I wear the bright colors. And then do you find that this personal brand that you've helped them to develop also goes into their time off of work? Does that make sense?
I think so. We all have a personal brand, right? Whether or not we acknowledge it or we really work on honing it. I think professionals, entrepreneurs, we really want to be intentional, because what is our brand? Our brand is really what others think about us. It's what people say when we're not in the room. It's a reputation. It's also a feeling that people get when they interact with us, or what they know us to be, or an expectation, right? So you have, so if you're an employee, it's that same thing, or not that same thing, but when we show up, and I always say that our clothing is the packaging of our personal brand. It's the first thing people see. And we know that people make decisions about us in seconds, right? You don't have a long time to make you have minutes, sorry, not minutes, seconds to make a good first impression. And then people, just before you even speak, they make assessments and judgments about you just by how you show up. So as an entrepreneur, when you're the face of your brand and you want to, you've spent all this time and money really creating your marketing assets, you're in the spaces, you're networking, you want to ensure that the image that you project really is in alignment with your brand. Because if you have a disconnect, if people see all your great marketing and then when they meet you, you look like something completely different, then there's this disconnect and they wonder, like, what am I, if I invest in this person, what am I getting? Am I getting all the glossy marketing, or am I getting what I'm seeing in front of me? So you just want to really align those two and really create a consistent and confident I say style story. And as I said, it's a part of your brand. Now, when you say, personal and professional, I think, if we're off, and we're just hanging out at home, fine. But I think if we're out, because you never know when you're going to get your next customer. You never know when you're going to find somebody. So I really think you should show up really with your brand in mind and just be intentional. And that doesn't mean that you need to be in a suit and tie every day. That just, that's not sustainable. That's not realistic. And that may not even be your brand. Your brand may be more casual. And so you show up that way. But it's about being intentional and thinking about the message. However you show up, what is the message that I'm sending? What is the message that I want people to get from me and how I show up? Now, when we're doing branding shoots and I'm styling for branding shoots, then we do again questionnaires. What's your brand? What are the words? How do you want people to feel when they see you? And so we create I choose outfits that really align with that, so that you can use those images with your branding and your website and your pitch deck and whatever else you're doing. But it's a powerful tool, right? Because again, those few seconds that people have to make decisions about you.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember it was 2019 and I was doing these videos called Tip Tuesdays. And I always started them like Tip Tuesday. And everybody, it was like, I'm an introvert and I said, I'm going to do this. And I was like, who is watching? But I'm going to keep on doing it. And I did find that people were reaching out. And then I went to a barbecue. And I went to this barbecue. I was casual, but my casual style, which kind of blends and whatnot. And the host said to somebody, he's like, "Oh, this is the Boswell-Buck." And then the person looked at me, he's like, "Tuesday." And I was like, watch, right? But thankfully, while I was in that casual style, right? It still kind of was my brand, right?
Yeah. And I don't want to scare people. I'm not saying that you need to be dressed to the hilt every day. You can be casual and still polished. You can be casual and still feel like your brand. Well, if your brand has that casual aspect, but I think most brands now do. People don't expect you to always be dressed up, but they do. But you want to own the narrative. That's what another thing I love to say. You own that narrative. You own the message that you're sending. You own the story that people are saying about you, right? You give them the language that you want them to use to refer to you, refer business to you, talk about you. And you do that when you really have a style that matches and aligns with your brand.
Right. Claim that power. Excellent.
Absolutely.
Now, because I do digital marketing, I just have to ask this to everybody who I interview. Like, which social media platforms, Renee, do you focus on for your business and why?
Sure. So I like this question as well. So when I started, it was all about Instagram, and I was on Instagram, and I just didn't feel like I was really getting the traction that I wanted in my business from Instagram. And when I thought about it, I said, when my ideal client, who is a professional person who identifies as a woman in a career, wanting to move up in leadership, if they're on Instagram, I'm not sure that they're in the mindset of work when they're on IG. I'm thinking that, they're scrolling IG, just kind of not thinking about anything, just want to be entertained, laugh, see pretty pictures, get those quotes. So I said, my ideal client is really on LinkedIn. That's where my person is. Now, I knew that's where she was, but it was just easier to be on IG because I felt less, just post a picture and say something. Where LinkedIn, I felt took work, right? I really thought. And so I said, I'm going to really spend more time on LinkedIn. And so that's what I did. About March 2020, so March, April 2020, or maybe even before the pandemic, I really leaned in on LinkedIn and really started to be present and content for LinkedIn, all of that. I still am on IG, and I just find that I may post a little bit more personal things on Instagram, especially I use stories a lot more personal, more behind the scenes stuff on IG. And LinkedIn, I really try to have it really be focused to people who are building a career, or they're in career or leadership or in some type of professional space or work. And it may be the same type of post, but I may lean harder in on the more professional piece when I do on LinkedIn. But then that same post, I put it on IG a little bit with a little different text. But I really
Right.
try to use my content that way.
Right. I like how you broke that down because often business owners they feel that okay, well, first of all, I'm on two or more platforms and I'm going to share the exact same
Oh
thing.
yeah,
And I
no,
love the way that you broke down the thought process. And even if you did decide to share something like the same video,
right.
same reel on a different platform, you do a bit of an edit to it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes I'll share the same reel. I share the reel on IG and it may just be the IG and something light. But when I bring it over to LinkedIn, I'll talk about, some major point that's really pertinent to the people who are on LinkedIn. What can be helpful to the people who are using this platform? How can they use it in their careers, professional work? What kind of challenges would this person be dealing with that this reel can help with? And then sometimes I find when I put that on for Instagram, that just made me too heavy. Not to say that IG people wouldn't also appreciate it, but I just make it different and make it
Yeah.
fresh. And also, I don't want people to follow me on LinkedIn and IG to get the exact thing each time, right? I want to show a little bit more of my personality on Instagram, a little bit more of what I do. I like my personality on LinkedIn as well, but it's just easier with the platform of Instagram and
Yeah.
what they have, the tools they have.
Different perspectives. Like so I do marketing and my brain so can switch. So my full name is Denise and I say Denise is the person who is the parent, the wife, and get your socks. Where's the
Yes,
grocery list? Like very and then when she needs a break, then that Denise who goes on Instagram is like, oh, scroll, scroll. So my family will be upstairs and they will hear me downstairs and I am laughing my
nothing.
head off. I am just having a great time. My daughter can come down. I've got the tears coming down. And then I can switch to D. D is the business person who I look at Instagram in a different way. And I'm looking at those business posts. However, no matter what, whether it's Denise or D, when I go to LinkedIn, that mindset, it's a mindset shift. And
Absolutely.
I'm looking for a specific type of look on that platform.
Yes, yes. And I agree. And that's what I noticed and what I said, it's just different. I don't people who post the same thing, I just think they're missing out. It really needs to be tweaked for the platform and how people use the platform and the type of content they want to get from the platform.
Right, right. I hope everyone heard that. So Renee, you have a couple of downloads that you shared with me. My hands are like this because I'm so excited, and I would love if you can speak about them, and I can tell you which one. I mean, they were both great. I can tell you which one's my favorite.
Sure. So I have a dressing your body shape guide. Now I do this as a giveaway because it's like the foundation of looking good, feeling confident, and knowing how to dress your body. So I go through the different body shapes and the styles and the cuts and some of the silhouettes that will work best for you. So no, let me just say this off. It's not a hard and fast. I'm not saying if you have this shape, you have to do this. It's just a guide. Take it or leave it. Take what you want from it and leave what you don't want. But I just find that the clients that I've dealt with who have these shapes, um, they want to look the best that they can and not maybe bring attention to some areas that maybe are bigger or smaller than they would like. So that's all I'm saying there. Take it as you'd like. But it really is a great foundational piece to have to know when you're going shopping. What types of cuts and silhouettes should I buy? How do I accessorize this if I don't want my my chest to be the focal point? What kind of pants or cuts do I wear if my hips are wider and I don't want it to look extra wide? Right. So just those types of tips that are useful if you
Right.
want. As I'm saying, you don't have to use it because sometimes people say, well, I like my big chest. I want to wear these. Absolutely. Wear what you want to wear. wear what makes you feel great, wear what makes you feel confident. These are just suggestions and guidelines from my experience, and not just me, but some that are known and held throughout the styling world, of how to use what you have and to dress it when you're confident and comfortable.
Right. And then you also have 5 steps to killer style, right?
Yes, yes. So the 5 steps to killer style. These are some of the steps that I take clients through when we're really trying to understand their style. When they want to understand what is their personal style. They don't know where to start. They're confused. They've gone through some type of change. So it's 5 steps that when you go through, and if you go through the steps, it will help you to get some clarity and bring clarity to your style.
Yeah. I mean, they were both amazing. I really enjoyed the dressing your body guide just because, we spoke briefly before we came on, and I have that different mindset. I'm a different age, and I definitely had to do a bit of an edit on my closet. So I love anything that just makes things, that gives me an easier way of
Yeah.
looking at things to
Yes,
break things
absolutely.
down.
When you go into the stores, right, there's so many options. But if you know what works for you best, then the options are much narrower, and you don't have all that overwhelm. You know exactly what this doesn't won't, but then you know what will, right? And so it just makes it easier.
Yeah, amen. So we're going to be concluding, Renee, and I would love to know, what is a top lesson that your clients walk away with after they work with you?
Usually it's confidence. They'll say, "My goodness, I feel like myself again. I feel like I can do anything." And I hear that all the time. It's confidence in showing up for themselves. Um, that's a big one. And then also money and saving money and time. People say, "My gosh, I wish I had done this sooner," because instead of the overwhelm in the mornings of what do I wear, what goes with what, and wasting all the time, they've now created a space that works for them. So it's easy for them to create outfits. And then the saving the money piece. Yes, they invest in me up front, but they're not having those buying mistakes of buying the wrong things, of buying stuff that doesn't work for them. So they're knowledgeable, and they're able to dress themselves well, shop well, and just show up well for themselves. So those are the main things I'd say. Confidence for sure. That's a big one. Confidence for them to step into spaces, confidence for them to speak up, and the confidence even in knowing that sometimes they'll say, "Does this look good? Should I wear this?" But confidence in knowing what works for their body. Confidence all around.
Yeah, and then in terms of saving money too, I think like time. Time
Yeah.
is a big thing.
Time
And
and
that could
money.
be either the time to go out and shop, the time to return, the time that you put into thinking
Think
about,
about-
this is not working,
Right.
or right. So there is all
Absolutely.
of that additional
Yeah.
time, which is so
Time.
valuable.
The time, decision fatigue, all of that, right? So if you create a space where everything works, where you can put your outfits together, where I have created outfits for you that you can say, "Oh yeah, this is a look I'm going to go today." It just makes it so much easier, and it shortens the time, and your time can be freed up doing something else that you want to do and enjoy. And the money
And
piece for sure.
fabulous.
Pardon?
And look fabulous at the same time.
Absolutely. That's we only do that over here. Just fabulous.
Right. So Renee, thank you so much for being on Strategize Your Business Online. And I would love if you can let everyone know the 2 best places that they could find you after this live.
Absolutely. So I'm on LinkedIn. So Renée Lindo, I'd love to connect with you here. And Instagram, I am on Instagram at Renée Lindo _style. Oh, I'm sorry, my website, Let's Get Dressed Now.
Awesome. And what I will be doing a little bit later is I will make sure that I share the links to these fabulous downloads as well. So I'll
Awesome.
share that.
Yeah.
So, and another thing, I mean, I believe in repurposing content. So this live here will be shared on YouTube as well. We'll be sharing snippets of it on social media. And that would be it. So, Renee, thank you so much. I am a huge fan. I love
Ah,
watching. I mean, I catch you more on LinkedIn,
yeah,
and I do see your, the reels and whatnot. But I just, I love that your message, right? Not only do the clothing look great, the clothing looks comfortable, and I know you're dressing for yourself. You're using yourself as an example, but also your message talks about, being comfortable. It was a while back, maybe a year ago, you talked about returning back to work and what does that look like
right,
for people, because that's a lot of anxiety there. So you talk about things that we are all thinking,
right.
and you make it feel like it's going to be a bit of an easier process.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Dee, because that really is my goal, right? I want to make it easier and really take that overwhelm out of getting dressed because it shouldn't be, right? But we have to really understand the tools and the tips and how do we do that. So
Yes,
thank you. I'm glad that you're seeing it that way.
I'm seeing it. Well, thank you everybody for watching. And Renee, thanks again. And everyone, I will see you next week on Strategize Your Business Online. Thank you.
Bye bye.